Hello everybody, this is Robert with Deep Thought Cycle Blogs, and long time no see everybody. I was reluctant to, every time I say that I want to say reluctantly crouched at the driving, or reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engine light, I'm not saying, but I'm very upset tonight. I wouldn't normally be upset, but my wife is having depression these days, and you know, this is something that we've been battling for a long time. And tonight is, and yesterday is particularly bad after doing so well. You know, and it's always like this when things are going really good and she gets this depression, and it just fucking really is tough on the kids, really tough on me. I mean, everything was going swimmingly until she started getting depression, right? And yeah, so because she's got depression, it's like it affects my children's school. For two days my kids can't go to school, and I hate, and it's really a lot of good. It affects the stability and routine of my kids, and when it does that for me, I mean, I really get really pissed off about it. Now I know that, you know, I try to say, hey, you know, I don't give a fuck about your depression. Kids are number one. And I'm not really a professional healthcare person, but I sure do live like one. Like a caregiver, and combined with the fact that I've been working a whole lot lately, my patience gets thin and my anger gets high, and I'm just like so upset to see her do that to the kids and stuff, and to see her be unstable. She's not being violent or anything, but she's just being neglecting the kids, neglecting her duties, and neglecting this kid's school, and it's like, and it's 100% opposite than what she is. This is what I go through for years, and when I'm so efficient and I got everything like going so smooth to get her immigration, and I've been doing so much hard work, and I'm so fine-tuned right now to have her come and fuck up everything when I'm like so much putting out. It really pisses me off, because I don't like it. I don't like to have my kids set back and have everything in my life destroyed from her fucking depression. It affects me. I don't know, my autism or what. I like things to go predictably well. I like it when I'm in control of things going well, and when I know that if I work harder, they get better. Not if I work harder for no fucking reason. She destroys all this shit in life because of her depression. Now, you put my kids in the mix, and when I see that it affects them, and that pisses me off even more bad. Because I can't stand to see children get hurt. I can't stand it. And I don't mean just physically, I mean mentally too, you know what I mean? Okay, man. So, it makes me upset. And, she's clinical about it. I mean, it's like, seriously, like, she's got the real kind of, I want to just like, what did I say in English? Break her fucking neck and say, hey, man, it's just an emotion. You know, in my life, I have very little, emotion plays a very little role for me. Because I don't know, I mean, sometimes it plays a lot, but when it comes time to work, it's like riding your bike in the rain. If it's raining, let it fucking rain. You know what I mean? You're gonna ride, go ride. Time to work, go to work. Take care of your kids, take care of your kids. Ain't no room to bitch about anything. You sad? Be sad and do your shit, right? I mean, so I'm kind of a hard ass, like, yeah, I don't know. And because we live so Spartan, and I told myself I wasn't gonna go this way. I thought because I'm leaving late there'd be less traffic. So I'm having like, now somebody that treats depression and people like that, you know, I always try to be flexible, but not at the expense of the children, you know what I mean? When the children are involved in our mix, I don't say, oh, don't worry. And it's gonna take 4 days for this cycle to fucking get finished. And I love her, but I never counted on her to be responsible, because that's something that I gotta be. It would be sure goddamn nice though. I mean, she undoes all of her own hard work too. She works hard and then she fucks up her own work. And she gets this stupid fucking depression, man. So then I get angry and she gets more reclusive. And when I'm under extra pressure and extra stress, hey, come on, I'm less, I mean, there's times when I make a better doctor than other times. I try to keep my bearing. But I mean, like, I'm like, man, this shit's gotta stop, and it's gotta stop now. And so anyways, I'm like so angry right now. Because when I'm outside teaching other people's kids, and I see that she's completely neglecting mine, and my kid's got special needs, you know, and when she's just completely fucking ignoring them, like, it pisses me off. And you know, it really pisses me off. I mean, like, I can't I'm sitting here doing my job all day, all week, and I'm away from my house, and she's letting my children just make paper airplanes and fucking destroying them. You know, trap them in the house all day long, not do any schoolwork, just go to bed and completely fucking neglect them. Oh, it makes me so angry. It makes me so, and I'm sitting here all week, and she's not like this every day, right? When she gets her bad depression, and I'm sitting here all week like doing every fucking thing, and all of a sudden she's like I just found out I got an alien inside of my stomach. Fuck. Really upsets me. So, I mean, I can't focus on my job. I can't focus. I want to be home. I want to run home and say, fuck off. And to get on, you know. And it's like she hang up the phone. She want to answer the phone. She'll look at me in the video and show me the video of her sitting there doing nothing. And just, I'm like, oh, I'm so angry, man. It's so fucked up. When she's like this, I'm like, oh man, you know, I go from worrying all month and everything to get a visa to thinking, oh, I'll just get a divorce and get the fuck out of China and take my kids and fuck her. I'm sick of this shit, you know. I actually think like that. Like I just get really, I ask myself, I doubt myself, I say, oh, maybe enough of this shit, you know. I mean, I'm trying so hard. But, you know, then sure, depression will get better. She'll be sorry. And I continue to try to be compassionate. And it's a fucking roller coaster. I understand she's sick, but that doesn't make it less painful to go through this shit, you know what I mean? So, I didn't want to do a vlog, because I'm not in the right fucking mind. Like angry, I thought, oh, you know, I can never make vlogs and shit all these years. When she does this, I just like, I just can't think about it. I feel like I'm sick in the stomach. The amount of stress on me is, but you know what? I haven't done a vlog in a while. And there's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna talk with you guys and give it a go. You know, I have a hard time taking my mind off of it. I mean, the alternative is, you know what the alternative is? You know what I do is I call her every second, saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop doing that. Get out of your depression. Stop it. Go take care of the kids. Don't do that. Don't wake up. Stop sleeping, ignoring the kids. And like, I'll call her for like 6 hours straight. You know what I mean? And you know what kind of stress that is when you're, it's like having a terrorist in your fucking house, man. And it's like, it makes me so stressed out, and everything is, my whole life is completely fucked up. But just calling her and saying, come on, don't do that to our fucking children, please. So instead of doing that, she's turned off the phone. What she does, she turn off the fucking phone. She'll block the messages, and I know when she does that, she's hiding, and that means that no matter what I've done, no matter what I begged, she's at home, fucking neglecting the kids, sleeping, not give a fuck. It makes me so fucking angry. So, let's talk about other things. Let me try to change my mind, okay? Because I can't do anything till I get home. I got 30 kilometers of anger. This will be my therapy, right? I'll get home and I'll forget tomorrow how angry I was all day long. since 4 o'clock I realized she was in her depression, and it's for 5 hours straight now. Just ultimate stress, man. Like, no, whatever my worries in life are, she got to make a problem for me. Like, I don't got normal fucking struggles, you know. Man-made. And it's gonna take me a long time. Everything I did for my kids, she erased it. All the times I got home and took them outside and tried to make them feel loved and comfortable and give them attention and get them in school and get them on a regular routine, she does this shit and is back to square one. And my first-year-old child, my youngest two children, it's really affecting their development really bad. The shit she's putting them through. I mean, god damn it. And then she'll act like, and the next week she'll forget. And she acts like she'll try hard. Fuck, man. Alright, so what's up, guys? What do we do here? Well, I'm gonna take a break up here at the regular rest stop. Fuck, I hate to start a vlog like this, everybody. I've been going through this shit for years. Go somewhere else with your crocodile tears, right? Fuck. Remember that Kwame song? Oh, they cut the bushes. So the bathroom with a view right now, that's great. So what does that mean? So we got a lot going on here. Let me tell you what's up. I don't remember if I told you. I did tell you, I remember now. So I got the boys their laptops, those new workstations. And I got paid this week. So the first thing I did is I paid for them, right? And these workstation costs like more than 3 months rent for 2 computers, right? Which is a lot of money for us, for me. 4 months rent about, right? Just about 4 months rent is what I paid. And I paid them, so I paid them off. I don't owe any money. And that's good. So I went to start installing everything, and I told you guys about Linux. We're going to talk a lot about Linux first. Skip ahead in the program if you don't know shit or you don't want to hear about Linux, but I've been using Ubuntu, GNOME, since I first started using Linux. Now, if you don't know anything about Ubuntu, GNOME, or Ubuntu, basically they have 2 kinds of releases. Every year they have like a high-tech kind of release in which they make a new version with the latest features, and that's good for like a year. And then every 4 years they have something called an LTS, like a long-term support version, which has got good solid support in it, but it gets updates much slower than the yearly releases. So I was using the yearly releases and updating all this computers for all the children I support, the classes. And I thought, well, you know what? Number one, I'm preparing to leave China and try to set up, oh fucking, an online learning solution. I didn't see that. I thought it was turn left. I was trying to set an online learning solution up. And for the students I'm teaching on the team there, their laptops need updated, right? So I kind of got sick of doing the update, and I realized, man, this is a pain in the ass, because I tried to do the update on my computer and the update got fucked up, and it broke some things, and this is what happens when you do these big version upgrades. Things get broken in Ubuntu, and you gotta do a fresh install or troubleshoot it to death, and that takes a lot of time. So I was on the hunt for a better solution, and they always had this, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of Linux out there, and you know, Debian, so many different kinds. Currently, one of the most popular versions is Arch Linux, and people pride that as like the DIY for the hardcore Linux people. Now, I never really have time to really fuck with it, so I wasn't really worried about Arch Linux. I wasn't doing it as a hobby, really. I was doing it as a lifestyle, you know. And the thing about Arch Linux is you need to have time if you're going to build it from scratch. But there's some distributions that are made off of Arch Linux, like there are for every distribution. And one of the most popular ones, if you go to the distro watch, is called Manjaro. Such a stupid name, I think. Hard to remember the name, I think. And Manjaro is a version of Arch Linux, and I use Manjaro Gnome. Gnome is how the desktop looks and has some different configurations in it. So I started using it, and I had to learn how to use it. Some things are the same, some things are different. They're both based off of Linux kernel, but they do some things a little bit differently. The repos and something called a repo is just like an address of where you get your programs from, and the programs are called packages. And so the package manager is different in Manjaro, and the repo system is a little bit different, and that's it. That's a big difference right there. But the biggest difference is Manjaro is called, and the Arch Linux is known as something called a rolling release. And what does rolling release mean? Somebody wrote a comment about that on the last video, I think. Rolling release means that you can update your system and keep it updated, and there's no serious new revisions. It doesn't require a full system upgrade. It's upgraded incrementally, and really it doesn't make sense to me. Why doesn't Ubuntu do that? Oh, come on, fucking bitch. Why doesn't Ubuntu do that? I don't know why. My impression is I think it installs faster than Ubuntu, but there's one big problem, I think. And the problem is the package management system it's used, they call it Pac-Man. It's one of its in ways, and they have what's called a shared repository. Well, they say the community is bigger on Arch Linux, so there's many programs that have been adapted for Arch Linux. And that's true. There are many programs. That's a good thing. Now let me tell you what the bad thing is. And you know, I haven't had time to read what other people's opinions think. I've hardly read any news about Arch Linux. Everything I'm telling you is from my own personal experience. And my biggest complaint right now is, well, I got a big complaint, I got a small complaint. My big complaint is because you get a lot of these programs like Chrome. Well, if you're gonna get Chrome browser in Ubuntu, you could go directly to Google, and Google packages Chrome. And they call it a deb file. Debian-based Linux uses deb files. And most Linux distributions that you go to, most software developers release their installation packages in a script, an install script or a deb file. And that's great, you know, you go to the source and you get it. Now the thing about Arch Linux is, in Manjaro, if you get the deb file, you've got to open that up and you've got to use a program called Package Manager, and you have to compile it yourself. And then you have to, which means you have to make the package into the kind of package Arch Linux could use. That's one choice. Or the other choice is go to the community and get somebody's done that for you, and you can download the shared resource. Now I'm sure everybody now that could understand me can see what the problem is. Instead of going straight to Google, there's a middleman in there who configures the packages, puts it out, and then you download that. And when we go to this repository, there's very little information about what has been done to this file before they got it from Google and repackaged it to distribute to everybody. Now you see a lot of people that are using Arch Linux talk about being into security and really taking advantage of encrypting their hard drives and stuff and secure kernels, and I don't see the mention that, I mean, you see the standard warning, hey, using the shared repository is not safe. It could be dangerous, but when you see that warning over and over again, everybody uses it, and you become less aware of it. So, almost without a doubt, I'm sure many programs are compromised. I don't have any proof, But come on, all you gotta do is be human to realize that, right? All you have to do is be human to realize it. In that kind of situation, if it can be compromised, I believe it will be compromised. So that makes me slightly uncomfortable. You know, the best thing about Linux is you never had any viruses. Now that I'm using Manjaro and their shared package delivery system, I feel something I haven't felt since I used Windows. I feel like, my software could be infected. Most likely it is. You know, so that's not good. And I still am not completely fluent. Perhaps I'm just so new, and I'll develop better security practices later. But currently, and the way that I'm using it now, I don't feel really good about the security level. However, I do feel good knowing that I will no longer have to go through updating so many people's systems, like my kids and stuff. It's easy to administer somewhat. And so that's my outtake on Manjaro. I'm using GNOME, and a small bitch about it is I like to use Variety Desktop Wallpaper Changer, and I'm having a hell of a time getting the Light DM Greeting Manager to change the background, which should be a simple task in any other version of Linux, in any other version of Ubuntu I used. But in Manjaro, it's pretty tough. So that's a small gripe. So yeah. So what have I been doing? Well, and also the program I use to back up and deploy is called Aptic, and I couldn't just transfer and back up my previous version of Ubuntu with all the programs I had like I could on, you know. But the problem is, with the last update of Ubuntu, something in my backup configuration when I deployed it to the new version of Ubuntu was carrying over and causing a bug with the ManDB database help file program thing that was just, I spent a lot of time trying to fix it and I couldn't figure it out, and this bug was being replicated on every single system that I updated. So fuck, I lost a lot of time trying to fix it. In the end I said, fuck it, man. It's a good chance to try Arch Linux now. And Manjaro seemed to be the easiest way to get into it. And so yeah, so what I did is I installed it all, got all the normal shit what I normally use. I try to create a master copy on my system and then figure out how to back that up and deploy it to my kids' system. So I've got 4 computers, including my kids and me, and I've got 3 student computers, so I've got 7 computers in the house that I installed Manjaro on. First it was mine, and configure mine, and then I'm going through and I'm restoring the backup copies of mine onto the students' computers, and I'm getting more efficient as the more I do it. I mean, that's how you get it done, is you get your hands dirty. That's how you get to know the system, I think. So unfortunately, and this is a bad thing, because like my wife doesn't handle solitaire situations that good, and it affects her psychology. When I don't get her out every week and I get more busy, it has a visible psychological effect on her. Like in my dog too, my dog, he goes crazy. I don't take her for a walk, and my kids, they're so much affected by the time that I give them. Well, because I bought these new computers and I configured it, and then because I got to do Linux, a different Linux system, and then because I have to offer the support on the other kids' computers. I mean, on Monday, I went to school and I didn't sleep 1 minute. And I came home and I slept 3 hours that day. And then on Tuesday, I also only slept 3 hours, 2 hours maybe. And that happened every single day this week. I didn't go out and walk the kids and walk the dog and take my wife out. On my day off, I didn't take a day off. And normally I really try to do that, to take a day off, you know? And to make sure I get good family time. But this week, I said, look it, man, I'm sorry, you know, I gotta do this. Other times they're gonna say, look, we gotta do our lesson plans, get the school right. Now I'm saying, well, I'm sorry, I gotta get these computers done for you guys and for the future, and it requires me to not be there. And sure enough, after a hard week of this, it has an effect on my wife's psychology, and I know that these things are linked from experience. My wife takes the medicine, the lithium and the other medication. However, I've realized in the absence of therapy, I must provide her therapy and attention, and it has a very big effect on her psychology, how much attention I'm giving her like a kid. And I'm aware of this fact, so man, but you know what, this is a high stress situation. I've got to do better. I've got to set shit up, and I've got to make things more efficient. If I didn't push it to the limits, we would have been dead a long time ago. So yeah, I'm pretty angry, but by the time I get home on this ride, I'll survey the damage to my kids and my wife, and I'll finish these last systems, and they'll be done. And because I've done this step, I'll never have to take home students' computers again to update them. And it should be a more stable and time-saving thing. It's tough. But yeah, I mean, I've been losing a lot of weight lately. But I didn't like to stop riding my bike. That's for sure. There's been so much happening. So much I want to talk about. Not just Linux, right? Kind of tired. It's funny, I had a million things I wanted to talk about in the next blog, and now I have to really fucking think about what those things were. Well, talk about the Google I/O. Let's talk about bikes first. You know, I wanted to get my bike ready to go to the US, and I don't know my housing situation. I don't know if I'm gonna have to stay in a tent. I try to anticipate for the worst case scenario. So I've been checking out tents, and specifically 4-season tents, because I don't know what time of year I'm going to be there. And I don't know if my wife's going back or not. It so happens that the biggest, lightest tents that they have are 4-person tents and not 6-person tents from like Big Agnes. 4-person, 4-season tents. And I've been thinking about front racks. And there's 2 scenarios for the front racks. Number 1, the first scenario is a tubus rack. Lowrider ergo combined with the Salsa 2 front racks. The good thing about it is it's low weight and easier to get onto the airplane to go to the US. The bad thing is, look, I mean, and this is extreme, like when I bring home those computers and I put 5 or 6 computers in my bag in my panniers, I could feel my toe peak rack is not the sturdiest rack under heavy weight. Right now, as I have it set up, it's a great rack, but excessively burned in, you could feel that it's got a lot of movement inside, a lot of flex, you know. So now on the front, you know, I'm trying to anticipate the worst case scenario. And like I did before, when I always rode the Schwalbe Marathon Supreme, or Marathon Tire, Marathon Pluses, and the Marathon Touring. Those are heavy tires. Industrious tires that work really great. I always told myself, you know, especially when I was younger, don't worry about the weight. And I did pretty good on I got pretty fast on the marathons when I was younger and stronger. But those marathon tourings, I just wasn't that fast on them. Now I know I wasn't in shape yet. I'm getting into better shape now. But wow, these tires I'm running right now, these tubeless tires, they are definitely more nimble. And they've allowed me to ride at higher RPMs. I know you can't tell right now because I always kind of sprint in the morning. Kind of sprint in the morning, you know. But I'm not sprinting right now, that's for sure, right? But at the same time, I am going faster with these tires. Now, what's that have to do with racks, right? Well, look, a commuter bike that I carry a lot of stuff on. It's not a road bike, I know. And I have no idea what a road bike is. I never rode one before. Now, when I built my old bike, it was much better with the 36 spoke DT Swiss TK 540s. I know you keep hearing me say that. I mean, these are not bad rims that I got right now. They're lighter than the TK 540s, and they've been pretty good. You know, I shouldn't complain a lot. They're not so robust, maybe. However, combined with the tubeless tires, I mean, come on, you get a more agile bike, commuting bike, right? Now, going to the US though, I worry about worst case scenario, carrying my kids' laptops, having maximum load because I don't know where I'm staying and I don't have any transportation in the US. I have no home and no shelter. Until I get that shelter, I have to be an all-in-one solution. And ultimately, a robust, super strong tourer is, as much as I wanted to tell myself that I was making a robust commuter, a super strong tourer to go immigrate to a new country is a little bit heavier than a heavy-duty commuter. Tires, rims, and racks, those three options. If you want to talk about roll-up, want to fantasize about roll-hops, I could indulge in that fantasy, but when you're thinking about going to the US and you're thinking, well, hey, it is a job-apocalypse now, where everybody's unemployed, and I look at Tesla making $20 an hour. That's a lot less than what I make right now. Even though I don't work so many hours though. And the higher cost of living you're kind of thinking, well, you might want to get shit on your bike before you leave, because go to America, you might not ever have money again. So when you're going to live as a hermit in the mountains, it's nice to go really well equipped, right? Following that logic and budgeting and everything, and that kind of bicycle with that frame, like, I don't need that front frame going to work what I'm doing right now. My tires right now, my tubeless tires, they're okay for me to commute in. They're great. However, they might not be the right tires to return to the US in. So, for that reason, it's a tough call. You know, these are expensive tires. Who knows if I'll ever have enough money in America to buy these kind of tires in the US. I sometimes think of throwing on my other tires just to get ready and get strong and get prepared for the worst case hard ass scenario. What I got to do right now is I have to wait, and I have to find out if they're gonna let my wife come into the country or not. And I'm doing everything I can to try to figure that out. When I get that answer, whether or not they're going to allow her into the country, then that has a huge change in my planning. I'm not going to buy the front rack until I get closer to departure, so I know what to get. And you know, possibly I'll get some different tire. I'm not sure. Some stronger. I'm not sure yet, man. If I get the Surly front rack, which is the heaviest goddamn motherfucking tire rack you can get, which I don't think I will, because I don't know I can put on the airplane, really. I'm not sure. I might get the heavy duty rims. I'm not sure yet. So that's where I'm at with the bike situation. got some new oil on the chain, some wet lubrication. I still got to get my front tire trued a little bit. I just haven't got that opportunity. It's not so far out of true. Who knows how my bearings are doing? Right now the bike's working. So long live the bike. Gotta figure that stuff out though. I told you guys I got a star wrench for my seat. And man, this Crank Brothers seat post, you can see the review. It's a real pain in the ass to get it to work, but when you finally figure it out, it works well. And I gotta admit, that star wrench helps you get a little bit better torque, so I can't complain that much. I just had to buy a star Allen wrench, and it's cool, but I rode for a couple 100 kilometers too much with the nose of my seat up just a little bit too high. And I finally said, fuck it, you know, let me, since it's easier to adjust my seat now that I figured out the little trick, I put the nose down a little bit better, and it does all kinds of wonders for my dick and my balls, man. Just a little tiny bit of a downward slope, and I've seemed to found nirvana. Seriously, man. So as a public service announcement, if you're riding your bike every day, check your seat angle. Now it does feel a little bit awkward at first, but if you're finding yourself having to rearrange things quite a bit, just a tiny bit decreasing the front angle or whatever, just pointing the nose down a little bit more makes a huge difference. And yeah, I'm happy. So that's a big thing. But I try to give myself, look at, I got the paper from Germany, the divorce paper, and that's a huge thing to get that from Germany. And when I got that from Germany, I knew it was on, that the ball's in motion to go back now to the US. So I made a pact with myself that I will ride like never before. And I've been losing weight. I don't have a scale. Even though I haven't rode in 3 days, I still feel like I'm losing weight. But I try to respect, and especially since there's been a lot of rain, you got to be smart when you ride in the rain. If you haven't got your 4 hours of sleep, you know, and this is tough for me because I was in the mindset to ride no matter what. And if it wasn't raining, I would have rode it anyways. But because of the rain and that increased chance of danger, I decided to, fucking bitch. I decided to not ride. But in my head though, I'm trying to get emotionally and physically prepared. And what's going on? How do I get prepared? Well, they got these websites where people rank their jobs, and they talk about how it is to work there, and they got like Amazon ratings for jobs, right? And I've been checking all about Tesla out, and I've got myself psyched out. It seems like with the culture there and the opportunity, I think I can do really well if I can get there and get into the door. I feel very confident. Of course, I want to try SpaceX and Tesla at the same time where I can get the job. So I'm excited. Now I just got my German. It was hard to find a translator to translate German to English. I just got one, and it cost 600 yen, and I hope they're not gonna fuck me. I can translate it myself, but I need the stamp, you know? So that's getting done right now, and I hope it's cool. And I'm trying to get an interview on Tuesday to apply for my wife's I-130. And my wife has been doing better, and she's been so good. And you know what? Maybe it's because I made it standard for me that I was gonna make sure they got their family time no matter what. I mean, I don't want to be the reason for her failure. Gosh, she was doing so well, man. I know I had to work hard this week, but you know what? That's what you got to do, man. I'm sorry to take such a big toll on her. And so anyways, I'm hoping to get in there to get an interview next week. And then after that, find out about the next interview, in which you're going to ask for an affidavit of support. I'm hoping that we could get around that requirement. I really hope so. That's the thing, man. They have it in their power, I guess, to let us in, and it's really in the air. I don't know what's going to happen. In the meantime, I try to hope that she can go with us. I really do. It makes me angry she does this depression shit, because I've been trying to get her ready and she was excited. And now she's got this manic depression thing. She's a different person. And I hate this person, what she is right now. I hate it. Now, in the back of my head, I've been worried about America's situation with bike thieves, and looking at different locks and stuff, you know. So that's going to be an issue in the future, is what lock know, you can't trust in any, right? And yeah, it's non-stop work for me lately. What else do we know? Chautauqua. Well, okay. We're gonna let this happen. Okay, we're not gonna let this happen, maybe. Look at this guy right here. Now I'm carrying all my bags, and my bike weighs as much as 5 of it. There's a time though where I didn't let that bother me. Is that time now? Oh, he's gonna stop for the red light. Idiot. Sucker, that's how you lose, man. That's how you lose, man. Playing by the rules was got him hurt. Anyways, thinking about bike locks. Talk about Chautauqua. He's out in a foster care in Colorado, and I finally got a chance to speak with them, and they got him in a home living with 3 other foster kids and a 2-man team. And this organization, they got 2 houses, I guess they run. One's got 4 boys, one's got 4 girls. And these 2 guys I met were really nice. You know, there's so many people involved. They've got a caseworker that does some kind of power of attorney. They got another caseworker. They got a therapist. They got a caseworker in charge of education. They got the 2 men in charge of the foster home and other special education. They got behavior psychiatrists and a whole big team. And honestly, I met the guys who are working with Chautauqua, and really nice guy. I'm not going to say any personal information about him, but he's somebody that's doing a job, what he cares about. And he seems like, just me talking to him, all the time I spend talking to him, he's the kind of guy that's all right with me, that I trust. And I'm real happy that Chautauqua. And now I'm not easy to, I don't say this loosely about everybody. This guy's one of the good guys, so. And I'm really happy. I spoke a lot of time, and he's very open, very good communicating, very dedicated, and he's exactly the kind of person that needs to be doing the kind of job he's doing. He's the right person for that job. His personality, I'm surprised that Chautauqua was able to get into that situation. Luckily, met some real good people. So they've been shuffling around, and this guy Michael, he got Chautauqua into this house here, which was better than the other place they had him. The other place they had him was real military-like, and that's real good, man. He's there, and I can talk to him man to man. He's a good guy, you know. But they have a long procedure on how they offer help to special needs kids. They have something called an IEP, which is individual educational program, and they have psychological analysis, they have the teacher's analysis, the academic analysis, and all these things take about 60 days to create. And after the analysis is done, then the government by law has to provide the education for children who have special needs, and they have to be in a school that offers that training, whether it's somebody taking them from one class to the next, or anything like that, or if it's special programs. Now the school that he's at right now, they put him into a 9th grade class, which is getting ready to do final exams. And he's never ever gone to a full day of school in a public school that hasn't kicked him out. In China, he got kicked out of several schools when I tried. So the thing is they need to observe him, and they can't get him into the right classes until they complete this IEP. And so they're working on that, and he said might not be ready till the beginning of next school year. Shit, that's not good. Talk was missed the whole year. And I don't think he could miss another 4 months. So we still got issues to go through. They got to get him immediately into academic programs. That's very important. But they're working on it, and it's pretty complex because he comes from another country, and you know, I'm very much a part of the process. Mike says, oh, a lot of parents don't care. A lot of parents don't care, he says. And I don't know, man, there's a lot of people that got their own stories in life. Foster care stuff. Kwame ran away. I never stopped caring for 1 second, so it's a strange situation that he's there. And for me, I did not give him up voluntarily. I did not have him taken from me. And I will continue to try to be the best father I can be in any way I can. And a lot of issues coming up. You know, what kind of issues are we talking about? Well, let's jump to Google I/O. Big thing about Google I/O is a Turing test. I'm not going to talk, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. If you saw the I/O conference, or you read the news, you might have seen the example in which the new Google voice assistant called to make a dinner reservation, and it called to schedule a haircut. You know that? And I see a lot of news that are talking about the conference, and the mainstream media's real stuck on this aggregation of data from Facebook and all this shit. And I don't hear anybody talking about what I'm going to talk about. You hear it here first. In case you missed it, Google Assistant called a delivery person and called, and they couldn't understand anything, that it was a robot. It sounded like a real person, and they say it even passed the Turing test, I don't know. But it was so lifelike, and during a dynamic conversation that wasn't scripted, you couldn't tell it was a computer. Now, you may ask yourself, any days go by, then the water, sunshine, and the good times, and no. You may ask yourself, why do you need that from Google Assistant? But if you're asking yourself that question, you're missing the big picture. There's my wife trying to call me. I'm gonna ignore her like she ignored me, bitch. The big picture is, all these jobs, secretary jobs, phone answering jobs, jobs which are simply collecting data by phone, troublesome reporting. I mean, all these jobs are now instantly in danger. That advancement at the Google AI conference is going to cost hundreds of thousands of people jobs. Now you might think, well, hey, I don't want to be a secretary. That don't affect me. My job is secure. And with that logic, you know what you're missing? You're missing the fact that all those people that lost their jobs now they're getting ready to lose their jobs. They're gonna look for your job. They're gonna come and it's gonna be more competition. Like me, going to work at Tesla or wherever. Well, if I don't hurry up and get there, as soon as automation becomes more attainable, which it took a great, gigantic motherfucking leap towards real everyday use, we're gonna see life on this earth change as we know it. And everybody's all talking about Cambridge Analytica. Everybody's talking about hardware, talking about the Apple earnings return and the iPhone 10, and everybody's laughing saying, yeah, look at Apple's not losing money. They actually have fans. They're saying how great it is. You know what? You don't hear them talking about Google and Facebook are creating their own silicon TPU chips and are focusing not on using Intel CPUs, but they're developing customized silicon for AI processing. They don't even talk about hardware. Apple's talking about hardware a little bit, but come on. They didn't talk about having a ultra long lasting phone or VR headset. It was all about AI innovation. And it was none about how this is going to change the workplace. And I can't believe the mainstream media and all these blogs are not putting this in the fucking center spotlight where it should be put. You know, I went to East Germany after the wall fell down, before the technology arrived. And I saw the technology coming like a tsunami. And then I moved to China and I witnessed that same tsunami happen in China. I could see this other tsunami coming and nobody believes me. And that tsunami, you could see it coming too. If you look at the last Google I/O Developers Conference, that is freaking scary. And you know what I get the feeling? I feel as though this isn't really an accidentally being left out of mainstream media. I mean, look at the same time this talk is happening, you see Trump completely shutting the borders, trying not to let anybody in. Why is that? Because we're getting ready to face mass unemployment, and you see this talk about trade war. I think that the smart people in government are not planning a trade war. They're planning something much, much bigger. They're planning the trade war is they're trying to leapfrog the upcoming technical revolution here happening, and the only realistic outcome is localized production. International trade doesn't make sense. That's like the same thing as a centralized network or centralized government. These centralized points of international trade where you're importing from, that's not localized, that is not decentralized. That is the old way. And we need to be connected locally. Local production needs to be efficient all over the world, not just in centralized locations. So I kind of get the feeling that some businesses well, now I know a lot of people don't like it, but maybe it's just a natural evolution of things. I don't know. Is it intelligent design? That we're looking for trade war defeat to destroy the international trade system, and that's the only way localized trade can rise up through the ashes? I don't know if that's being intelligently orchestrated or not. Could be, right? I don't like to hear Trump be so anti-immigrant. Now I have met a couple people that are anti-immigrant too from the US, like online, but all the people I met in the government so far and the embassy staff, they do not seem to share Trump's attitude. And I can tell you guys, I've seen a lot of what America looks like on the outside through what is happening in the media. I've seen that, and I can tell you that I've met some Americans that are in the government, and they actually give me hope that there are good people in America, and there are nice people, and America is not universally a place where everybody acts like Trump. I mean, obviously living in China, I'm probably not going to be running into a lot of the ultra-nationalist racists, but having actually met people from the US that are different than Trump, and that are not, I mean, I'm surprised. I know that it's strange because you must be saying, oh, I'm American and I speak English, but you know, I've been gone for the majority of the last 25 years of my life out of the US. So I have inside and I have outside, but a lot of what I see through my outsider eyes scares me about what I see in America. It scares me, the hate and the racism and the way they're against immigration. And so when I actually say that I've met people that change that thought of me, they make me see a different part of America. That's cool. I mean, I'm not like I'm not cheering for a football team, so I'm happy to see that there's real kind people out there. Yeah. I guess my phone's probably gonna have no din soon. So, you know, I see a lot of people writing comments. No din, that means in Chinese no power, right? On my camera. Wow, I can't believe how many comments there are on the videos on the channel, guys. Jesus. I think that it's not just a coincidence. I feel if there's so many comments, that must be because YouTube has been giving the videos more play. Maybe we've reached that threshold of enough people that it's starting to appear in searches and it's being served up in relevant places. In any case, welcome to all the new subscribers. You guys talked about a lot of stuff in there. I try to respond to your comments as soon as I can. If I don't catch your comment, maybe it's lost, I didn't know. Let me know, I'll try to respond. I'm happy to see you guys there. Can't believe that people are watching. Yeah, this morning on the way to work, I saw what looked like a full-size cat curled up in a ball laying on the side of the road about 7 kilometers past where I found the old cat. And it didn't look like a dead cat. It looked like a cat that was curled up, and I don't know, and maybe scared. And I was in a real big hurry this morning. I was barely on time to class. And it was a full-size cat. I had a hard time passing it. I had a hard time not stopping and going back. It really ate at my gut. If I didn't have to go to work so bad, I would have gone back. I feel like it was some kind of karma test. In that situation, I really didn't have the time, though. I had to keep going. And I feel pretty bad because I couldn't have stopped. So, yeah, that's tough, huh? Was the cat dead? Was it gonna die? I don't know. Made me feel pretty worried. And really, I mean, for like 4 or 5 kilometers, I was about to turn around and go back.